The sun had slipped behind the horizon hours ago, but the city still glowed with a restless neon heartbeat. In a narrow street where puddles reflected broken pieces of light, a lone figure ran, half panting, half praying, clutching a torn backpack that held his son's only dinner. A noise behind him made him freeze, and before he knew it, a car screeched, a woman slipped, and the world seemed to shatter into silence. What happened next would pull a poor single dad into the kind of destiny he never dared to imagine. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and humanity, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Bright Hearts. Your support helps us create more stories that touch lives. The man's name was Ronan Hale, a 34-year-old single father who had spent more nights worrying about rent than sleeping. He worked 2 jobs, morning shifts cleaning an office building and evening shifts loading boxes in a small warehouse. His back ached, his palms were bruised, and his hope had thinned into something fragile enough to break if pushed 1 inch further. Still, every morning he woke up because of one reason: his 7-year-old son, Micah, who believed his father could fix anything, even the world. But that day had been especially cruel. Ronan had been fired without warning from his warehouse job because they were reducing costs. His supervisor avoided eye contact when saying it, but Ronan wasn't angry. He was simply exhausted. Exhausted from trying to survive a life that seemed to push him down each time he tried to stand. He had bought Micah a small bag of bread rolls with the last $5 in his wallet. He had hoped to hide his fear and tell his son that tomorrow would be better because dads were supposed to stay strong, even when they were breaking inside. But as Ronan walked home through the alley shortcut, he noticed headlights swerving. A sleek black car slid dangerously, splashing water across the pavement. A woman in a red dress stumbled backward, nearly falling. Ronan didn't think twice. He dropped his backpack, jumped forward, and caught her before she hit the ground. The woman breathed hard, dripping wet, and clutched her chest. She looked terrified, like someone who had been running from something only her heart understood. Her name was Aurelia Voss, though Ronan didn't know that yet. To him, she was just a stranger who needed help. Ronan guided her to the side of the road where the rain hit softer under a broken canopy. She looked at him, the soaked gray shirt clinging to his tired body, the dark circles beneath his eyes, the trembling hand that still held one of the bread rolls he'd accidentally crushed while catching her. Something in her gaze softened, almost like recognition, though Ronan didn't understand why he offered her the other bread roll. It was all he had. She hesitated, stunned that a man with so little would still choose to give. The street around them hummed with the hum of distant traffic. The rain calmed. The city softened. And for a moment, it felt like the world paused just for them. Aurelia thanked him softly and asked if he lived nearby. Ronan simply nodded and helped her walk toward the main road to call a ride. He didn't ask any questions. He didn't assume, didn't judge, didn't pry. He just made sure she was safe. Before leaving, she looked at him one last time, her eyes lingering like she wanted to memorize his face. Then she was gone. Ronan walked home with damp clothes and shivering hands, unaware that a camera inside the mysterious car had captured the entire moment. He didn't know that Aurelia Voss wasn't just any woman. She was the CEO of Voss Tech Industries, one of the largest companies in the country, and the billionaire philanthropist who had been searching for a particular man for years. The next day was unusually bright. The morning sun warmed the cracked pavement outside Ronan's apartment building, and the air smelled of freshly baked bread from the shop across the street. Ronan woke Micah, pretending everything was normal. He laughed through his worry, braided his son's messy hair with gentle hands, and promised he'd figure everything out. But his heart trembled with uncertainty. He walked Micah to school, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "Be brave for me, buddy." When he returned home, something strange happened. A black SUV stopped in front of his building. Men in suits stepped out, but their badges read Voss Foundation Humanitarian Division. Ronan's chest tightened with confusion and fear. Had he done something wrong? The men politely asked him to come with them. They insisted he wasn't in trouble, but they could not discuss details outside. Ronan followed them into the SUV, concern twisting in his stomach. The city outside blurred as they drove toward a tall glass tower, stunning and modern, Voss Tech headquarters. When the elevator opened into a quiet private floor with marble floors and panoramic windows, Ronan froze. Standing near the window, wearing a simple cream suit and a warm, yet nervous expression, was the woman from last night. Dorelia's eyes shined the moment she saw him. She thanked him again for helping her and explained that she had purposely been walking without bodyguards the night before. She revealed that she had been searching the city for the man who once saved her little brother 14 years ago. Her steps were slow and emotional as she approached him. She explained that she remembered the man's eyes, his voice, and the way he had risked his safety to pull her brother out of the wreckage of a collapsed street kiosk during a storm. That man had disappeared before her family could thank him, but she never forgot. She looked at Ronan with trembling certainty, and she told him she believed he was that same man. Ronan was shocked. He had no idea a small act from years ago had meant anything. He had simply helped a boy trapped under debris while everyone else ran for cover. He hadn't expected gratitude. He never expected to be found. Aurelia stepped closer, tears forming in her eyes. She said she wanted to repay what she couldn't all those years ago. She wanted to help him the way he had helped her family. She offered him a job at Vostek, one far better than anything he could have imagined. A stable salary, benefits for Micah, training opportunities, and most importantly, security. Ronan's voice trembled as he accepted. Not because he wanted charity, but because someone finally saw him. Really saw him. Over the following weeks, Ronan's life transformed. He learned quickly, earned respect, and proved himself hardworking beyond measure. Aurelia visited often, not to supervise, but to check on him. They grew close in a quiet, unspoken way. She admired his humility. He admired her strength. They found comfort in places they didn't expect. Micah adored her. Aurelia often brought him books and small toys, but more than anything, she brought warmth. They laughed during lunchtime visits at the company cafe, and Ronan often watched with a feeling he couldn't quite name. Yet beneath all the changes, Ronan stayed grounded. The memory of struggling, of darkness, of holding on for his son, those feelings never left him. They shaped him. They humbled him. And they taught him gratitude deeper than words. One afternoon, Aurelia invited Ronan to the Voss Foundation charity gala. She said he didn't have to dress formally, but she already had a suit delivered to his home. Ronan arrived with shy uncertainty, but the moment he walked in, whispers filled the room. People looked at him with respect, not pity. They saw him as Aurelia did, a symbol of humanity that didn't have a price tag. During her speech, Aurelia shared the story of two nights that changed her life. One when her brother was saved, and another when she herself was rescued by a stranger with a crushed bread roll still in his hand. She pointed at Ronan, her voice trembling as she introduced him as her hero. The room stood and applauded. Ronan lowered his head, overwhelmed. Later, as the sun set through the golden windows of the gala hall, Aurelia approached him and whispered that some people are chosen by fate not once, but twice. She thanked him again for being who he was, not a wealthy man, not a powerful man, but a good man. And that was worth everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Bright Hearts. Your engagement helps us reach more people with stories of kindness and hope.